Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnanam Gnanam Chakshudan Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Satpitam Yena Bhutale Swam Rupa Kadaman Vidati Swam Pradandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sakajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Shadvitam Savadutam Parajanam Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Shyam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shavanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kaltarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namarom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we will today speak on this verse, Bhagavad Gita, the Yoga of the Supreme Person, text 20. Iti guyattamam shastram idam yuktam maya etad bhutva buddhiman syat krita krityascha bharata. Iti, thus, Guyattamam, the most confidential, Shastram, revealed scripture, Idam, this, Yuktam, disclosed, Maya, by me, Anaga, O sinless one, Etat, this, Bhutva, understanding, Buddhiman, intelligent, Syat, one becomes, Krita Krityaha, the most perfect in his endeavors, Cha, and Bharata, O son of Bharata. Translation. This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, O sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Lord clearly explains here that this is the substance of all revealed scriptures, and one should understand this as it is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus one will become intelligent and perfect in transcendental knowledge. In other words, by understanding this philosophy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engaging in transcendental service, everyone can become free from all contaminations of the modes of material nature. Devotional service is a process of spiritual understanding. Wherever devotional service exists, the material contamination cannot coexist. Devotional service to the Lord and the Lord Himself are one and the same, because they are spiritual. Devotional service takes place within the internal energy of the Supreme Lord. The Lord is said to be the sun, and ignorance is called darkness. Where the sun is present, there is no question of darkness. Therefore, whenever devotional service is present under the proper guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, there is no question of ignorance. Everyone must take to this consciousness of Krishna and engage in devotional service to become intelligent and purified. Unless one comes to this position of understanding Krishna and engage in devotional service, however intelligent he may be in the estimation of some common man, he is not perfectly intelligent. The word Anaga, by which Arjuna is addressed, is significant. O Anaga, O sinless one, Means that unless one is free from all sinful reaction, it is very difficult to understand Krishna. One has to become free from all contamination, all sinful activities, then he can understand. But devotional service is so pure and potent that once one is engaged in devotional service, he automatically comes to the stage of sinlessness. When one is performing devotional service in the association of pure devotees in full Krishna consciousness, there are certain things required to be vanquished to get altogether. The most important thing one has to surmount is weakness of the heart. The first fall down is caused by the desire to lord it over material nature. Thus one gives up the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord. The second weakness of the heart is that as one increases the propensity to lord it over material nature, he becomes attached to matter and possession of matter. Problems of material existence are due to this weakness of the heart. In this chapter, the first 5 verses describe the process of freeing oneself from this weakness of heart, and the rest of chapter from 6 verse through the end discusses Purushottam Yoga. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, the 15th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of Purushottam Yoga, the yoga of the Supreme Person. Again to the verse. This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, O sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. So here, it's a very interesting verse here. To understand this, we just have to go to the previous verse, so that at least we know what Krishna actually is speaking about. So let us just go to one verse before this, that is 19. So let me just go one verse up. So here in this verse, Yomam eva asam muddo janati purushottamam sa sarvavid bhajate mam sarva bhavena bharata. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the know of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. So this point is what actually Krishna is driving at. Krishna is saying that you must come to this point of accepting me, this the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And again he adds this word, without doubting, the word asamuddha. Asamamuddha, I'll just show you a bit, just in Sanskrit. You can see this word here, asamuddha, without doubting or without a doubt. So in other words, we have to accept Krishna in toto. We cannot try to be like, accepting Krishna and we're not, too confident about it and, we are still mentally hovering. So that point we should come, you see. And that is also, you see, it's explained here in this verse here. And this is the same point Arjuna is coming. Sarvameta ritan manye yamam vadasi kesava nahete bhagavan vyaktim vidu devana dhanavaha. So this is what Arjuna is saying. Oh Krishna, I totally accept. See that? I totally accept all that you have told me. This is the point that he accepts in total everything that Krishna says. He does not doubt. There is no doubt. Then he adds that neither the demigod nor the demon, O Lord, can understand your personality. So in other words, people who have doubts, they cannot understand Krishna. That is not possible. See, as you all know, for the doubting soul, it's explained here for the doubting soul. But ignorant and faithless person who doubt the revealed scripture do not attain God consciousness, they fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. So doubts are considered as demons, If a person is doubting, then he's not very clear in his, what we say, faith is not, substantiated fully. It's not fully, accepting everything. So this Krishna consciousness means that we have to accept the spiritual master and Krishna in total. That's it. We cannot doubt the spiritual master. See, this is also happening to our movements ever since Prabhupada left. And many of them have transgressed to, or rather regressed to, doubting Prabhupada's system of initiation, Prabhupada's management, and so many things. So this is not very, what we say, it is not uh, solid, a solid faith. That's also explained here. You can see in this verse. I'm showing you very quickly. Here you can see in this verse. Yeah. Yasya deve para bhakti yata devi tata guru. Tasyet patita he artha prakashante mahatmanaha. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith. You see this point, that is implicit faith, both in Lord and the spiritual master. Then all the points of the Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. This is not something that I can go study the book day and night. No, this is not the methodology to understand Krishna. That's not the process. I'm sure you all very well know that this is a revelation. This is not something that I study. It's not, you see, this is a revelation. This is what it says. This ancient, very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend. And I can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of the science. So this thing has to be established. To get this revelation, there are prerequisites. One has to be a devotee and one has to be a friend. And today we are learning that you must accept also Krishna in total. You cannot doubt. See? Then again, then this mystery will be revealed. Then you can accept. uh, then you also know everything, and therefore he can then engage in devotional service fully, because there are conditions. One, you have to be a devotee, you have to be a friend, and you have to free from doubt. You have to accept Krishna totally. Uh, so when I don't do this, then I cannot get into the understanding or accepting Krishna in total. So Krishna consciousness means that we have to surrender 100% to the spiritual master, and then we can get to know Krishna. It is not that we can, do this, by our own material strength or, by our material, what we say, power. Because these revelations can only come about if Krishna wants to give you. That's why he also said, you see in this verse again, and this verse he says, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Maya Shakta Manaha Partha, Yogam Yunja Madashraya, Yam Samagrama, Yata Jyasyasi, Tachvano. So the Supreme Personality of God is saying, now here, O son of Pita, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness, me with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. So Krishna is also giving the solution how you become free from doubt. The first thing is that you have to hear from an authority, as here in this case is Krishna. And then you have to practice yoga in full consciousness of me with mind attached to me. You see? And you can know me in full, free from doubt. So, you understand? So now Krishna is saying another thing, that you want to be free from doubt, then you have to hear from an authority like Krishna, and you have to practice. And this practicing part can only be done if you surrender to the spiritual master. See? In full consciousness of me with mind attached to me, again, it's just practicing yoga doesn't mean that you go and do some kind of all this kind of yoga that's going on the market. This is not going to work. All that kind of what we say, so many yogas they're inventing day by night. They got some crazy, crazy yogas, and everybody is making a good business out of it. But actually, this practicing this yoga uh, is to be in line with Krishna. And most important, the mind has to be focused on Krishna. Understand? Another important word here Krishna is using is mat ashraya. Mat ashraya in consciousness or in Krishna consciousness. What does this mean? I'm going back. Alright. Go back to the verse again. So you see here, it has to be done practicing Mat Ashraya in consciousness or Krishna consciousness. So now this Mat Ashraya means taking shelter of Krishna. So means Ashraya means taking shelter of Krishna, surrendering, taking Krishna as the. So but you cannot take shelter of Krishna directly. That's not possible. That is not possible. So taking shelter of Krishna means that you have to go to the spiritual master. Understand? Without the help of the spiritual master, as Krishna always quoted this verse many times. That to learn this, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So that is the prerequisite to take shelter of Krishna. Because Krishna, when he sees someone is sincere, then he will direct him to a pure devotee. That you have seen in many incidents like Durva Maharaj, then Krishna sent Narada Muni, and then Prahlad Maharaj was in the womb, again Krishna sent Narada Muni. When also the others, examples, many in the Bhagavatam. So this is a very important point. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the spiritual master. So if you cannot say, if you don't want spiritual master, if you don't want spiritual master, then it also says here, this is what happens when you don't want spiritual master. The mind is like an impetus force that even persons who have regulated their sense and breath cannot control. Those in this world who try to tame the uncontrolled mind, but who abandon the feet of their spiritual master, encounter hundreds of obstacles in their cultivation of various distressful practices. O unborn Lord, they are like merchants on a boat in an ocean who have failed to employ a helmsman. So if someone don't want to take a spiritual master, they will be encountering hundreds of obstacles in the cultivation of various distressful practices. This is the point. Even though they are very adept in controlling their mind, and the senses and bad control, whatever. This world, those who try to tame the uncontrolled mind, who abandon the feet of the spiritual master. And see, this is the point. You cannot come to spiritual life without help, with the help of spiritual master. That's not possible. That's not possible at all. This uncontrolled mind is the greatest enemy of the living entity. If one neglects it or gives it a chance, it will grow more and more powerful and will become victorious. Although it is not factually very strong, it covers the constitutional position of the soul. O king, please try to conquer this mind by the weapon of service to the lotus feet of the spiritual master and of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Do this with great care. You follow this point. We cannot try to control this mind because this mind, it is not some lightweight entity. This mind is very, very powerful. All the senses have been under the control of this mind since time immemorial, and the mind itself never comes under the sway of any other. He is stronger than the strongest, and his godlike power is fearsome. And therefore, anyone who can bring the mind under control becomes the master of all the senses. So this is the important point. But to tame the mind, we have to take shelter of the spiritual master. The spiritual master is so important. Without the help of spiritual master, we cannot make any form of spiritual advancement. That is Shastra. We cannot do it. You know why I've also explained this? Because since time immemorial, we are now, conditioned. Because a person has been covered by ignorance since time immemorial. That means only Krishna knows how long we have been, stuck in this material world. Is not capable of effecting his own self-realization. There must be some other personality, a spiritual master, who is in factual knowledge, not some any other ordinary person, of the absolute truth and can impart this knowledge to him. So he made a spiritual master. So this is very, very important. As I've already shown you, verse 11, sorry, 10:87:33. If you abandon the lotus seat of spiritual master, you will encounter millions and millions of problems. You follow this point. Now, having established this, that you must take shelter of the spiritual master, then the spiritual master must teach you this point. What is that? He must teach you devotion to Krishna. You understand? When you say you know everything, when Krishna knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting, is the know of everything, and therefore engage himself in full devotional service. It's not that I know and then that's finished. There has to be practice. So that is called devotional service. And that's why in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, only by undivided devotional service, I think it's 54. See, only by undivided devotional service you can understand Krishna. No, sorry, I got the wrong verse. Next verse. Yes. So this was Bhaktyamam Abhijanante Yavayas Jasmin Tattvata Tato Mam Tattvato Janta Vishete Tadanantaram. Now this verse it shows that one can understand me as I am as the Supreme Personality of Godhead only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. So now earlier on it says in that verse that we discussed today, whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now Krishna is saying, now one can understand me as I am as the Supreme Personality only by devotional service. Now it looks like very contradictory. One hand says that you know me, then only you can practice devotional service. Now Krishna is saying you can only know me if you practice devotional service. What is this? Little bit, what is that? Contradiction, is it not? But actually that's not the contradiction. When a person has preliminary desire, then Krishna will guide him to a spiritual master. And by associating with the spiritual master then engages that candidate, disciple, in practicing devotional service. And what is that devotional service? Yes, preliminary state is hearing, chanting, associating with devotees, taking Krishna Prasadam, all the rules and regulations, one after the other. Now, when you start doing that and associating with devotees, and that's very nicely explained, I'm sure you know this verse here. You can see here in this verse, in the beginning, one must have a preliminary desire for self-realization. This will bring one to the stage of trying to associate with persons who are spiritually elevated. That is spiritual master. Next stage, one becomes initiated by an elevated spiritual master. In case you know where I'm reading, I can just highlight it for you. Right? Under his instruction, the unified devotee begins the process of devotional service. By execution of devotional service, under the guidance of spiritual master, one becomes free from material attachment. Now, this is the point Prabhupada also is making. Unless you get initiated, you cannot become free from all sinful activities. This is this point. Let's go a little bit now. And this verse, you can see here, Yeshanta antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvanda moha nirmukta bhajante mam dardavataha. So here the point is this. Persons who have acted piously in previous life and in this life and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated are free from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. So you see, this point of coming to devotional service means person must have acted piously in previous life, and uh, in this life they are free from sinful action, are completely free from all kind of doubts, delusion. Then they can engage in my service with determination. So they are conditioned. You must become purified from previous lives. You must be purified of sinful activities this life, and you must be free from all doubt. How this all going to take place? Because we have been conditioned for time immemorial. So that means taking shelter of the spiritual master. So when you take shelter of the spiritual master, then you know what happens is Krishna says here, as blazing fire turns fire to ashes, O Arjuna, so does this fire of knowledge received from the spiritual master burn to ashes all the reaction to material activities. In other words, when you contact the spiritual master by initiation, the two things happen. One, you get transcendental knowledge from him, one, and the second thing is that he removes all the sinful activities from the disciple. At the time of initiation, the disciple is free from all sinful activities. You see that? So then, when he's free from all sinful activities, he starts again fresh. He's, purified. Understand? So that is required. So that when he's free from all this by the association with spiritual master, by initiation process, he becomes cleaned out, and his, desire to hear about Krishna then begins. This hearing propensity is very important. It's not some joke. Without that, one cannot make any advancement. By twice born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely free from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. So you see, the hearing process will then begin. Without that hearing process, one cannot, cannot make any advancement. And this point has also been what we say. Highlighted in the behavior of Narada Muni. Narada Muni also spoke about this verse. It's not here. All right, let me get to you that verse that Narada Muni says. Once only by the association. Let me find that verse for you so I can show you on the screen very quickly. Which is the leper, that's the verse. I think it is 1:7. 1:5:25. Okay, good. 1:5:25. All right. All right. Here you can see here in this verse. It's not in the sloka book. I don't know why. Once only by the permission I took the remnants of their food, and by so doing all my sins were at once eradicated. Thus, when engaged, I became purified in heart, and at that time the very nature of the transcendental became attractive to me. See this point? The moment he took the prasadam, the Mahaprasadam of the sages, all the sins were at once eradicated, at once eradicated. This is a very important point. Why? Because it requires the association of devotees. Also, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them, whereas the waters of the Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use. So this is an important point. So when he comes in contact with the devotees, Narada's heart became purified by taking the remnants. That's one thing. You can also take the dust. That's also another thing that is required, Das, the water that washes their feet, and the, three things, one is the food, one is the water, one is the dust. My dear King Rahugana, unless one has the opportunity to smear his entire body with the dust of the lotus feet of great devotees, one cannot realize the absolute truth. One cannot realize the absolute truth simply by observing celibacy, brahmacharya, strictly following the rules and regulations of household life, leaving home as a vanaprastha, accepting sannyas, or undergoing severe penances in winter by keeping oneself submerged in water, or surrounding oneself in summer by fire and the scorching heat of the sun. There are many other processes to understand the absolute truth, but the absolute truth is only revealed to one who has attained the mercy of a great devotee. So you see that? So devotional service can only be uh, gotten by one person who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of God as pure devotee. Understand? See, unless one is the opportunity to smear his entire body with the dust of the lotus feet of great devotees, one cannot realize the absolute truth. So Narada Muni took the remnants, and King Raghuna is telling, this is Bharat Maharaj is speaking, that you must take the dust. See, just one more verse up, you can just see a little bit more. Yes. I wait in, I'm sorry, got it the wrong one. By associating with persons for whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Mukunda is all in all, one can hear of his powerful activities and soon come to understand them. The activities of Mukunda are so potent that simply by hearing them one immediately associates with the Lord. A person who constantly, very eagerly hears narrations of the Lord's powerful activities, the absolute truths, personality of Godhead in the form of sound vibration enters within his heart and cleanses it of all contamination. On the other hand, although bathing in the Ganges diminishes bodily contamination and infection, this process and the process of visiting holy places can clean the heart only after a long time. Therefore, who is the sane man will not associate devotees to quickly perfect his life. So this is the, very important. We have to, understand this verses, this is not some joke. See, for conditioned soul, the human body is most difficult to achieve and it can be lost at any moment. But I think that even those who have achieved human life rarely gain the association of pure devotees who are dear to the Lord of Vaikuntha. Therefore, oh, completely sinless ones, and I ask you to kindly tell me what the supreme good is. After all, even half a moment's association with pure devotees within this world of birth and death is a priceless treasure for any man. So therefore, once we start associating with devotees, then we can get to devotional service. And once devotional service starts, why devotional service is so important? Of course, Krishna already revealed that, only by devotional service you can understand me as I am. I'm going to go to that again, but this time put another verse, it's the same point, but he said in chapter 11. He says here, O my dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service I can be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. So now I'm going to go to chapter in 11th canto, chapter 14. I'm going to explain why Krishna is speaking so highly about devotional service. Of course, there's Karma Yoga, there's, Jnana Yoga, there's other processes. But why devotional service is thrust? Hmm? So let us go to that and can we read that? So here, O learned Uddhava, those who fix their consciousness on me, giving up all material desire, share with me a happiness that cannot possibly be experienced by those engaged in sense gratification. Understand this one point. So those who are interested in sense gratification, they cannot understand what is devotional service. This devotional service and sense gratification, they go ill together. That's already explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna already said that in this verse here. You know, in the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence and were bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to Supreme Lord does not take place. See that point? So that means you cannot try to juggle these two things. It's not possible. You know, but devotional service is so powerful. One who does not desire anything in this world, who has achieved peace by controlling his senses, whose consciousness is equal in all conditions, and whose mind is completely satisfied in me, finds only happiness wherever he goes. See this point? Uh, not only that devotional service is just devotional service also brings about a lot of happiness to the practitioner. Understand? Unless he's happy, you cannot, it's not possible to practice devotional service. You know, devotional service cannot be practiced in a condition, painful, you know, kind of thing. You know, can only be done when a person's mind is peaceful. One who is not connected with Supreme and Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. Now can there be any happiness without peace? So Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma, one practices devotional service when he is equiposed, you know, when he is crosses over the modes of material nature. Of course, even in disturbance, the devotee is not, you know, he is not disturbed in anything because he is fixed, you know. So here, the next verse. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat, I'm sorry, I'll go back to the 14th chapter. One who is fixed in consciousness of me desires neither the position or abode of Lord Brahma or Lord Indra, an empire on the earth, nor sovereignty in the lower planet system, nor the eightfold perfection of yoga, nor liberation from birth and death. Such a person desires me alone. This is the position of a Akinchana, pure devotee. Doesn't have any desire other than only Krishna. See? So this is pure devotional service. Now what the Lord is saying. My dear Uddhava, neither Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, or Lord Sankarshan, the goddess of fortune, nor indeed my own self is dear to me as you are, because Uddhava was a very great devotee. See how it puts the position of a devotee even above Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Sankarshan, or even Lakshmi. See? What he says further. With the dust of my pure devotees, with the dust of my devotees' lotus feet, I desire to purify the material world, which are situated within me. Thus I always follow the footsteps of my pure devotees, who are free from all personal desire, wrapped in thought of my pastimes, peacefully, without any feelings of enmity, and of equal disposition everywhere. So Krishna is speaking in such a, you see, the devotee's feet he wants to take and purify the three worlds. I mean, although everything is within him and he is most pure, how he is speaking about the position of a devotee who are practicing pure devotional service. Ah, now, who are those? He also qualifies them. Firstly, they are free from any personal desire. They are always talking about Krishna's pastime. They are peaceful. They have no enemies, and they are equally disposed to everybody. They see everybody, uh, the cow, the elephant. You see everybody equal, right? So now the next verse. Those who are without any desire for personal gratification, whose minds are always attached to me, who are peaceful without false ego, and merciful to all living entities, and whose consciousness is never affected by opportunities for sense gratification. Such person enjoy in me a happiness that cannot be known or achieved by those lacking such detachment from material world. That's why the devotees, the non-devotees cannot understand the mind of the devotee. The mind of the devotee and the non-devotee different. It's explained in the Bhagavad Gita. What is day for the devotee is night for the non-devotee, and what is what is night for the non-devotees. The day for the devotees, all vice versa. They cannot understand. It's like oil and water cannot mix. You follow this point? They cannot understand what a devotee is relishing. My dear Uddhava, if my devotee has not fully conquered his senses, he may be harassed by material desires. But because of his unflinching devotion for me, he will not be defeated by sense gratification. You see this point? You see, abhiyuchyate indicates falling down to the material and being defeated by mind. But even though one's senses are not fully conquered, one who has unflinching devotion for Lord Krishna does not run the risk of being separated from him. So you see this point. In other words, even though a person is not fully become 100%, but he will not be defeated by mind if he is with Krishna. See this point. So in other words, there's no loss for a devotee. The devotee is always protected by Krishna. That's why Krishna declared in Bhagavad Gita, no, Kauntaya pratijane ma bhakta parnashati. My devotee, he will never be he will never be lost. My dear Uddhava, just as blazing fire turns firewood into ashes, similarly devotion unto me completely burnt to ashes sins committed by my devotees. See how you take up devotional service. All the sinful activities finish, burnt. My dear Uddhava, the unalloyed devotional service rendered to me by my devotees bring me under their control. I cannot be thus controlled by those engaged in mystic yoga, Sankhya philosophy, Vedic study, austerities, or even renunciation. See this point? Nothing can capture Krishna, as Krishna says this now in the Bhagavad Gita. Only by devotional service you can understand me. Only by devotional you can see me. Now here Krishna is saying, only by devotional service you can bring me under your control. Nothing else can help. Even you are low born, as he says in this verse. Only by practicing unalloyed devotional service with full faith in me can one obtain me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am naturally dear to my devotees who take me as the only goal of their loving service. By engaging in such pure devotional service, even dog eaters can purify themselves from the contamination of their low birth. So you see, even if we are low born, because now in Kali Yuga every one of us is so low born, even we are in this stage, by taking to Krishna consciousness, we become purified. Because devotional service means hearing, chanting, the 9 processes. Alright, you know that, I'm sure you know. There are 9 processes of devotional service. Right? The 9 processes of devotional service, of which the easiest is the Shravanam, hearing Bhagavad Gita from the realized person. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that if you can do 9 or you cannot, you can just do 1 of it, particularly the chanting. That, covers everything. Just by chanting Krishna's name, then all things included already. You follow? Chanting devotional service, chanting Krishna's name is so powerful that we can just chant Krishna's name. That includes everything, So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, in the 9th process, Uh, chanting Hare Krishna, chanting Hare Krishna includes everything. That's why in Kali Yuga the chanting is so powerful. Uh, Chanting Hare Krishna is actually the most effective method in getting to Krishna, and it's very easy to do. Anybody can do that. It's not difficult, you know. It's not very difficult to do. Hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, and pastime Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship with 16 types of penance, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming his servant, considering the Lord one best friend, surrendering everything unto him. In other words, serving him in total with the body, mind, and words. This nine process accepts as pure devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna. Yeah? One who dedicates life to the service of Krishna. So this nine methods should be understood by the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge. Hmm? So you see how devotional service is the most, powerful method of capturing Krishna. There's no other method that is so sublime. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so kindly has given us this, process. So if we take it up every day chanting Krishna name, can do it anywhere, any place, no hard and fast rule. And you see how very quickly you can become a very elevated devotee. Of course, of course, there are four other things one should do also, you know. So here you can see, I'm just going to look this for you. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna once, a person is relieved from all the action sins of life. One can complete the 9 process of devotional service simply by chanting the holy name. So you see how potent this program is. Huh? So chanting Krishna name is so powerful, and especially if it is done congregationally with the association of devotees. There are 5 things one should do daily. Huh? One is to associate with devotees, uh, worship the Supreme Lord. One has to worship the Supreme Lord, associate with devotees. And then we have to hear the Bhagavatam, and we have to stay in a holy place, cause the temple. Huh? These are the 5 programs in which, to be elevated to the platform of devotional service, the following 5 items should be observed: association with devotees, engagement in the service of Lord Krishna, reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, the chanting of the holy name, and residence at Vrindavan or Mathura. Or Prabhupada also said, in the temple or coming regularly to be with the devotees in the temple, that includes all these things. All these activities are daily being conducted in the temple. So it's not that, to do some separate endeavor. So these are the process in which one can actually become purified and get the mercy of the Lord. It is not difficult to do, you know. It is not that very difficult. One common love for Krishna gradually awakens even if one is a little advanced in one of these 5 items and is intelligent. The power of these 5 principles is very wonderful and difficult to understand. Even without faith in them, a person who is offenseless can awaken his dormant love for Krishna simply by being a little connected with them. You see, the power of these 5 principles is very wonderful and difficult to understand. Even without faith in them, a person who is offenseless can awaken his dormant love for Krishna simply by being a little connected with them. You see, there's now we discuss about the faith and the doubt and all. Just by attaching to this, a person can get purified. You know? If a person is actually liberal and intelligent, he can advance and become perfect in devotional service, even if he has material desires, and serve the Lord with some motive. You see, again, even you are motivated, you just take up this process, it will also clean you up, because the process is so powerful. You know, whether one desires everything or nothing, or whether he desires to merge into the existence of the Lord, he is intelligent only if he worships Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by rendering devotional, loving service. Devotional service is so strong that when one engages in it, he gradually gives up all material desires and becomes fully attracted to the lotus feet of Krishna. All this is brought about by attraction for the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Right? Understand? This is so powerful, Krishna consciousness. Whenever Krishna is requested to fulfill one desire, undoubtedly does so. But it does not award anything which has after been enjoyed will cause one to petition him again and again to fulfill further desires. When one has other desires but engaged in the Lord's service, Krishna forcefully gives him shelter as lotus feet, where one will forget all other desires. See that? The moment you come in contact with this Krishna consciousness, immediately everything is settled. Everything is settled. So we don't have to do some separate endeavor. Nothing. Right. So I have pretty much run out of my time. I'm going to stop here. Anybody has any questions? I'm going to unmute. If you raise your hand, I can unmute you, and then you can talk and ask your question so everybody can hear. Anybody wants to ask questions, you can raise your hand. You see the column on your hand, and then I will unmute you and you can talk. Nobody has questions? All right. So, okay, if you don't have question, I'm going to unmute all of you so you can at least, say you want to say. Okay, I've unmuted all of you. Anybody has got anything to say? Your comments, how you like the program? Yes, someone is coming online. We have devotees from Philippines. I think we had a devotee from China, but he's not there now. So no, nobody have anything to say. Yes. All right then. Someone is trying to say something. Yes. Is that? Someone one is a question. No sound. HTML5 user. Why there's no sound? Okay then, since all of you have no question, I thank you all for coming. Yes, with that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, who is this? Haribol?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna. I can hear you.
Oh, Prabhu, nothing, no questions, Prabhu. I just wish you only.
Okay. So did you enjoy what you heard?
Yeah, yes, Prabhu. Very nice class.
Thank you, Narahari Prabhu.
Thanks, Prabhu.
Okay then, I will stop the program here. I wish you all a very wonderful evening. You can apply this, or you can also play it back and hear it again. We're going to send the link to you. You can see it on the YouTube or whatever. So thank you again. Hare Krishna to all of you. Hare Krishna. All glories to Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.